What's going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about the trade that I did for today, recap some of the trades. I did a little under $2,000 for the day, so $1,900. I posted it on my Instagram story. That's where I share all my trades, all my wins and losses. Real quick, this is Justin from the future doing post editing. I actually closed the day at $1,800, not $1,900, because I forgot about the trade with Neo. So in this video, you're going to hear me reference $1,900 for the day, but that was actually incorrect. It's $1,800 from the day when you take away the money I lost from trading ticker symbol NIO Neo stock. Had to get that addressed. Back to the video. And for the day, one of the trades I did, which was a majority of the profits, came from a firm, right? I believe it was around 1,300 to 1,400. So if I made 1,900, this was pretty much the bulk of my trade for the day. Now, this was a really interesting trade. This was a stock that I mentioned in yesterday's video on stocks to trade for the week. And one of the things I mentioned, yesterday is, one, if we just look at the daily chart, this stock has formed a perfect cup and handle pattern. They don't always form this well. We even see the nice little handle and it's skyrocketing up. They don't always form that well, but when they do, it's beautiful, especially if you execute it right. Affirm has been a stock that I've been trading religiously for the past few months. I may end up not trading Affirm in the next few days. We'll see what happens, because I definitely think the stock has to maybe cool down and pull back a little bit. But with that being said, another thing I also mentioned, let's go to the 5-minute chart, because we're going to break down what I traded for the day, what my thought process was. But let's also go to why I also mentioned Affirm, which was because of the earnings. We're going to have the earnings announced for Affirm on the after close of the market on Wednesday, right? So typically with a lot of stocks, especially when it comes close to earnings, they rally up oftentimes. And we see that with a lot of stocks. I mean, we saw that with Unity, pretty much Coinbase, Neo, Workhorse. I mean, half the stocks on this list that I showed you guys yesterday have been, if not even more than half, actually, because Blink is I could show you guys Blink. It did a lot today, right? But almost all the stocks are running up to earnings because, that's pretty much how it goes. And then if there's a bad earnings, overreaction, stocks sell. I actually have another video where I talk about how to trade earnings. But besides the point, I want to go back to the chart and talk about Affirm, break down the biggest trade I did for the day. So, this was a stock that, in the pre-market, I was watching it and it was holding above the screen line, which is a 200-day simple moving average, right? It looks like it was holding as a nice little support here. And then once the bell opened for the market, there was immediately a green candle above the exponential moving average. So that was my sign of confirmation to enter in, right? So I entered in the stock and immediately it was just catapulted up in the first 30 minutes of the market. By the way, my trade, I completed it in 30 minutes, right? So it's crazy that we live in a world where you can make almost $2,000 in a day in less than 30 minutes, right? But that's exactly what took place. As soon as I finished my Affirm trades, I went to my other trades. But one thing I want to talk about with Affirm is just like market psychology and how it actually is deeper than we think and how it affects everyone, including myself, right? So I ended up selling Affirm at around, it was like actually at 172, right there, around here, right? Took my profits. It was around 13 to 1400. You guys could check my Instagram story if you want to see it. And Affirm actually rallied up even higher to 176.65, right? It made all-time highs. And at one point, I was almost kicking myself because I was telling myself, man, I sold too early. But I have a philosophy that I think would probably help you out as a trader, as it really does help me out, is that lock in profits. That's something I preach to the Push and Profit team. It's just a program I have. You can check the links in the description below. But it's just a small trading group I have. And I constantly preach about locking in profits, right? Because you don't lose when you take money off the table, right? Just think about this. If you are, let's say, I don't know what you're doing, but there's money on the table, right? If you take that money off the table, that's your money now. Now, maybe later on there'll be more money that gets piled on top of the table, but the thing is, you don't know if that's gonna happen. So oftentimes, especially on this channel, you'll see my trades happen very often where I sell very early, right? And sometimes I do kick myself. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It does just because I sold early. Sometimes it affects me negatively. Sometimes I think I kind of kick myself, like, man, I sold too early. But I have to remind myself, just as I try to remind you guys, that you don't lose when you made a profit, right? You could have made more, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda does not pay the bills, right? So, the stock ended up going higher. I was feeling a sense of regret, but, I was just following my plan. You make a plan and you execute the plan. I saw the RSI was overextended, right? It was overbought. So typically when this is overbought, there's going to be some, selling off, some pullback that comes off. Yeah, I sold early, but it happens, right? Now, clearly, the stock ended up falling back down, completely down for the day. Now, did I know it was going to absolutely tank for the day? Absolutely not. I don't have a crystal ball, but I did know that I was going to pull back a bit, and that's why I ended up locking in profits, right? So that's just a little kind of like antidote I wanted to share with you guys that, regardless, you may have feelings like this, feelings like that. You sold too early, you sold too late. Just lock in profits when the profits are there, and a majority of the time you're gonna win, right? That's just my model, my philosophy. It's really helped me out as a trader, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna catch everything perfect, right? If I caught this perfectly, that would have been fine, but we don't live in a perfect world, and we're not gonna catch every trade perfectly, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys. Now, another thing I wanted to share with you guys is, if you guys don't know, maybe this is common knowledge, maybe it's not, but oftentimes I trade pretty much in the beginning of the day. Now, 2 years ago, I used to not trade in the beginning of the day. I used to wait in the middle of the day because that's when price action kind of revealed itself. I knew where the supports and resistances were. But the problem with trading in the middle of the day is, you could see right here, the volume just isn't there, right? And that's pretty much almost every single day for every stock. Most of the volume is going to be in the opening bell, where things are very volatile, and as a trader, we profit off of volatility, right? We profit off the fluctuation of price, and so that's what we're looking for as traders. Now, yeah, it may be too hectic, but the good thing is, when the bell opens, stocks, they most of the time either go up fast or they go down fast. Sometimes they go up and down fast, which is why you're going to want to lock in profits quickly. But if you're wrong, you're going to know that you're wrong, right? So if your fear is like, oh man, but what if I try to trade in the morning and it tanks completely down really fast? You just got to exit out. You'll know when you're wrong. And you'll have your parameters set. Hopefully, if you're watching my videos, you know to set your parameters, know when to take an L. I take L's every single day, right? Today, I forgot what stock I traded. You could check my Instagram story, but there was a stock where I took an L on, and overall I still made over 1,900 for the day. But there are going to be some stocks that you lose a little, right? Affirm was not one of those stocks. Now, so that's just something else I wanted to point out. Now, another hour or point of the day would be the last hour of the day, which people refer to as power hour. So that's just something for you guys to take note of. But let me know in the comment section. We're going to talk about another stock, but let me know in the comment section if that ever happens to you. I'm not talking about the time of the day, but just like the psychology of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Does that affect you? Because that sometimes gets to me, but you just have to remind yourself to lock in profits. Now, I wanted to also just kind of show you guys what, Blink did, because this was a stock that I briefly mentioned in yesterday's video. We have the infrastructure bill that just recently is getting passed. It just needs Joe Biden to sign it, to my knowledge. And we had a big push in energy. I took profits on pretty much fuel cell, but it would have been nice if I actually took a look into Blink, which is actually TL or BL and K. So look at Blink. I mean, in the beginning of the day, it went up, ended up going down. After showing signs of confirmation, this would have been an excellent area to buy in, especially if we broke above this little descending trend line I have here, which is actually part of a descending triangle that I have, which you see pretty much Blink broke out of. Oh, and I just realized I wasn't showing you guys the charts. So let me go ahead and kind of recap that for you guys. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Blink pretty much, ran up crazy today. That's pretty much what I was showing you with you guys. This is where the confirmation happened, where it broke above the exponential moving average, started moving up. But let's say you didn't want to enter in there. As soon as it broke out of this descending trend line, which if I zoom out, you can see it was a descending triangle. That was pretty bullish. I didn't catch it. I'm not gonna catch every single trade. Sometimes I make videos and I talk about maybe 5 stocks in that one video, but I might only trade 1 or 2 of them because I was done for the day. If I made almost like almost like $2,000 for the day, I wanted to end my day early. If I made that in 30 minutes, then why, keep trading for the rest of the day? Now, here we see a little exception to the rule where we see volume actually increase in the middle of the day. Now, that's actually not typical, but it does happen. So if you're someone who only trades in the middle of the day, there's still hope for you. There is, volume that sometimes creeps up. Especially it looks like the volume creeped up the minute we broke out of this pattern, so it looks like a lot of other people saw that as well. But yeah, just something to be mindful of. Just lock in profits and know what times of days are typically performing better as far as volatility and volume, and pretty much don't kick yourself. Execute a plan, and pretty much just follow up with what you had in mind. And again, understand there are going to be L's in the market. There's not going to be a time where you catch every single stock perfectly, and you have to understand you don't need to be perfect to make a profit in the market. But with that being said, guys, if you want to learn more about technical analysis, then consider checking out the first link in the description below. That's going to be a link where I'm going to actually have a video. You just got to sign up. It's a free video where I just talk about trading and technical analysis and how I use it. And also make sure before you go to watch this next video right here, it's going to talk about earnings. It's how I actually trade earnings a different way. So I talked about in this video how I trade earnings before they happen. You could actually trade earnings after they happen too. So make sure to watch that video. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video.